Welcome to HSC Mathematics. This video is designed to help you understand what are your options when studying mathematics in year 11 and 12. It will explain the prerequisites and the requirements for each course and hopefully help you make some important decisions. If you wish to study mathematics in year 11, you have three choices, which are listed in red: Mathematics General, Mathematics, and Mathematics Extension 1. The two courses listed in black you can only choose in year 12. Let's start with the lowest level of mathematics that you can study for the HSC, and this is Mathematics General. Now, Mathematics General is a 2-unit course, and in this course you will be finding solutions to a broad range of problems that you would encounter in real life. It is a non-calculus based course, and I will talk to you about this in more detail later. Now, in year 11, if you choose to study Mathematics General, you need to do the preliminary course, and everybody does the same preliminary course. However, when you get to year 12, you then have a choice to study HSC General 1 or HSC General 2. Now, HSC General 1 is a non-ATAR course, which means that it cannot count towards your ATAR. HSC General 2 is an ATAR course, which means that it can count towards your ATAR. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is the preliminary general syllabus, which, remember, both General 1 and General 2 students need to study. Now, in General Maths, you will study several strands, and they are financial mathematics, data, measurement, probability, and algebra. Now, if these sound familiar, it's because they are an extension of the Stage 5 5.2 course that you all studied. You will also get to do two focus study areas, which are mathematics and communication and mathematics and driving. Now, when you get to the HSC, you then have the choice to study General 2, which is your ATAR course, and General 1, which is your non-ATAR course. If you have a look at the strands in both of these, they're very similar to the strands that you did in year 11. So it's an extension of all the preliminary content. However, the difference being that if you study General 2, then you study these strands in a lot of detail. If you do General 1, there is a lot less detail in all of these strands. Now, focus studies. General 2, there are only two focus studies, mathematics and health, and mathematics and resources. But because you studied less content in the strands in General 1, this allows you to do 4 focus study areas. Whilst I said that general mathematics is the lowest level of mathematics that you can study for the HSC, it is by no means an easy course. If you want to do well at general mathematics, you need to put in a lot of effort. And that brings us to presumed knowledge. So we say that for students to study Mathematics General 2 for the HSC, they must have studied at least 5.2 mathematics in Stage 5. Now, this means that it's recommended for 5.2 and 5.3 mathematics students. Now, if you've studied 5.1, that doesn't mean that you should not be allowed to study Mathematics General 2. But we advise you that only choose Mathematics General 2 if you were at the top of the 5.1 class and you are willing to put in a lot of effort. Now, Mathematics General 1, we only advise you to do if you did 5.1 mathematics in Stage 5 and you do not wish to get an ATAR. The next level of mathematics that you can study for the HSC is called mathematics, and it is a 2-unit course. Now, this mathematics course involves the study of mathematical techniques, but most importantly, it involves complex algebra and calculus and their relevance to the real world. Now, one of the things you should consider when choosing mathematics for the HSC is what you want to do beyond the HSC, and that is what you would like to study at university. Because as of 2019, mathematics will be a prerequisite for a number of courses at several universities. And these courses are economics, commerce, science, veterinary science, psychology, pharmacy, IT, and engineering. Now, if you have not studied mathematics for the HSC and you have not received at least a Band 4, what this means is that you won't be able to actually apply for these courses because you will not get in. Now, if you want to get more information about this, you can click on the link below and go to the Sydney University website. Now, at the moment, It's Sydney University that published this information. However, it seems like other universities will also have these same prerequisites. So you need to be very careful and you need to check this out. Now, when you look at the mathematics syllabus, you can see that all the things that are listed here will only be familiar to you if you have studied 5.3 pathway in year 9 and 10. So in the preliminary syllabus, you've got basic arithmetic and algebra, plane geometry, trigonometry, linear functions, real functions, which are other types of functions, also quadratic functions, and of course, calculus is introduced. As you can see, in the HSC course, there is a lot of calculus and a lot of algebra. And that brings us to the prerequisites or to the presumed knowledge in order to study mathematics. Now, it is very important that you understand that in order to study mathematics for the HSC, you must have studied the 5.3 mathematics pathway in stage 5. Students studying the 5.2 course are not recommended this subject, as they have not studied the prerequisite topics, and also their algebra skills are not good enough to cope with the complexities of the course. If you wish to extend yourself further, then you can of course study Mathematics Extension 1. Now this is one additional unit and I will explain that on the next slide. This is an extension of the mathematics course and it can only be undertaken in conjunction with mathematics. So that means general mathematics students do not have the option of studying Mathematics Extension 1. Mathematics Extension 1 is required for further tertiary studies in mathematics, the physical sciences and engineering. Now, if you have a look at the syllabus for Extension 1 Mathematics, Extension 1 students have to study everything that is in the Mathematics Common Course, and they also have to study their own content for Mathematics Extension 1. Now, this will involve further algebra, more complex calculus, and some other things that will help you later on at university if you go on to study, as we said, engineering and the physical sciences. Now, it's very important that you understand that if you study Mathematics Extension 1 for the HSC, then that means that you need to complete both the Mathematics and the Extension 1 assessment tasks. You will also need to sit for 2 examination papers for the HSC, and that is the Mathematics Common Paper, which the mathematics students also sit for, and also you have your own Extension 1 additional paper. Now, this brings us to presumed knowledge. And this is extremely important. Because Extension 1 Mathematics is the highest level you can study in year 11, it is quite a challenging course. So we advise you that you must have studied 5.3 Mathematics in stage 5, and you also should have achieved a grade A on your year 10 semester 1 report. Now that we discussed all the mathematics courses that are available for you for the HSC, we are now going to look at, well, what should you choose? Now let's start with Mathematics Extension 1. As we discussed before, it's only for 5.3 students who are achieving a grade A on the year 10 semester 1 report. Now, as you could see from the content of the course, you need to have excellent algebra skills, as you will be doing very complex algebra and calculus. You need to enjoy mathematics and you need to thrive on challenges because you will be studying 3 units altogether of mathematics for the HSC. Now, if you want to choose mathematics, you need to be a 5.3 mathematics student in stage 5, and we usually recommend that you should have received a grade A or B on your year 10 report. You still need to have very strong algebra skills, as the course has a lot of algebra, and you need to enjoy mathematics. If you want to choose Mathematics General 2, you should be a 5.2 mathematics student, or you should have done very well at 5.1 maths. Now, Mathematics General 1 we do not recommend unless you studied 5.1 in stage 5 and you do not wish to get an ATAR. As you notice, I have not mentioned Mathematics Extension 2 until now. And the reason for that is because it is not a choice that you have in year 11. Now, this course will only be available in year 12 to those students that have studied Mathematics Extension 1 and have done extremely well. So, as a general rule, we advise you that you need to use the guide given in this presentation to pick the highest level of mathematics that you are capable of doing. Now remember that if you choose the high level of mathematics and you feel like that you are not coping with this course in year 11, you can always drop down to the course below. But if you choose the lowest level of mathematics, you do not have that option of going up because you would have missed out on all the content. So our advice is to talk to your maths teacher and to listen to their recommendation. Think very carefully about what you want to study at university. This brings us to the question, why should you study mathematics for the HSC? Because after all, mathematics is not compulsory in year 11 and 12. Having said that, mathematics is extremely important because it helps us make sense of the complexities of our world, and it makes us better problem solvers in both our everyday lives and in our careers. So, whether you want to be a hairdresser in the future or an astrophysicist, I guarantee to you that you will be using mathematics in one shape or form. To find out more information about how you will be using mathematics in your chosen career, click on the link below. So this is my advice to you. Choose mathematics and make your career count. Why study the higher levels of mathematics in year 11 and 12, and that is Mathematics and Extension 1. As I discussed before, mathematics will be a prerequisite for a lot of courses at university in the future. And also, with a great focus by the government on STEM careers and STEM education, it is very important that you seriously consider what level of mathematics you study for the HSC. I now advise you to click on the STEM careers video under supporting materials to find out the answer to this question.